had a problem with the network there, but it's okay now. We are back online. As I said, my name is Pucci, and we're gonna carry on for the next 2 hours again. We're gonna do what we did yesterday, basically. And before I start with the content for today, I'd like you guys to actually unmute yourself and raise your questions that you had for the past work that we did before. If there's any questions based on what we did before, please unmute yourself and make sure that you ask me those questions. And we carry on. Hello, everybody. Are people alive there? Can somebody say hello just to make sure that you guys do hear me? Please do say hello.
Hello.
We hear you,
Thank
sir.
you. That's what I wanted. Thank you. That's what we call the energy in the morning. All right. Let me let me further welcome you again for the session. If you've got questions based on what we did yesterday, please do raise your hand so that we can clarify before we go further. Okay. And as you know that I would like you to actually partake on the questions that I do have with you. I'm going to ask each and every one of you so that you can participate on what we are doing today. Right. I've compiled a question for you based on the VAT input and the VAT output. Okay. Before I put that question for you to set, I'm just going to explain a little bit in terms of what do we mean when we say the VAT output and what we mean when we say the VAT output. Okay. All right. I normally ask my student that what is the understanding of all right. I normally or usually ask my student what is their stand or what do they understand? What is the understanding relationship between accounting and tax or accounting and SARS? Okay, so a lot of them you just give me an answer to say I hate SARS because we pay so much and stuff like that, and we don't see the reason why we are paying because of this and this and this is actually missing. Unfortunately, if you are employed in the country, you need to pay for your SARS or you need to be SARS compliant. Same would apply to if the companies are registered for VAT, they need to get they need to pay what's called the VAT towards SARS. Okay, so submissions are actually required on a timely basis, depending on how the structure of your firm is with regards to the terms of the payment. So it can be a 2 months basis, it can be a monthly thing, it can be a quarterly thing, or whatever the term that they can use. Right. So SARS has tried to be a little bit lenient towards us and say some of the food items or some of the goods, they're not supposed to be very attractive. Right. Things like your oil or your price or your basic foodstuffs that include your beans, bread, and your maize meals and so forth. Right. However, there are transactions that are actually very applicable or they do attract VAT. Okay. Sale of the stock. It might depend on which kind of a stock it is. If you're running an inventory or supermarket, obviously some of the item would not be very attractive. Okay, but here's the thing: VAT output in accounting, it's structured in a sense that you need to deal with what's called an income statement. I call it an income statement in a way. Why am I doing that? Because you charge clients VAT, and SARS charge you or clients charge you VAT at the same time. Right. So can you see that there's a movement with regards to your incomes along with your expenditures? Okay. Let's establish what is an income, what is an expenditure VAT. Okay. It turned out that when you're selling goods on credit, you are actually, if you're a VAT vendor, meaning that if you are VAT registered and you sell goods on credit, obviously you're going to include the cost of whatever the goods that you are selling, and then you're going to add a 15% of VAT. Okay. Say you are selling me whatever the other goods that you are. It's regarded as a cash sale transactions. Okay. Meaning that you're going to charge me VAT, which you are required to be compliant with SARS at a later stage. Meaning that it's not your money. It's not your business money. At the end of the day, you need to pay that amount of money towards SARS. Same applies to the expenditures. When you spend as a retailer to purchase your stock, you pay what's called the VAT input, because whoever that is selling you the goods is going to charge you VAT. Can you see the chain? It goes back and forth. It goes back and forth, back and forth, and back and forth. It depends on who is receiving the goods or who is actually selling the goods. Right. So the two relationship actually it's aligned in that. Right. So at the end of the day, with regards to VAT, so you're going to have what's called the output VAT, which is normally your, and then you're going to have what's called. So the text tells us that if your output VAT is greater than your input VAT, it means that you owe SARS. All right. And then if your input VAT is greater than your output VAT, it means that SARS has to refund you back the money. I don't know if that makes sense to you. Right. Is there any questions before I go further? Any questions? I'll take it as there is no questions. Right. Beside this question, which says the following transaction is for Putti Limited for the period ended 31st December 2020, and the transaction are VAT inclusive at 15%. Right. Simply what that means is whatever the transaction that attract VAT, you'd say the cost multiplied by 15 and then you divide that by 115. Happy. We did this before, except the VAT. The transaction that they're appearing now on your. Can everybody see the screen? Somebody please confirm quickly and tell me if everybody can see.
No, no, we can only see morning students. Class started 10.
The following transaction, can you see that?
Nothing.
Is everybody seeing the same thing? You see this? Do you see?
Yes.
Do you see this? Do you see morning students? The class will start at 10.
Yes.
Yes.
And you don't see the following transaction is for?
No.
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 All right. Just a moment for me, please. I'm gonna ask you to hold on for me just for 2 minutes. I just want to find out somebody who can help you from IT side. Just a moment, please. Or let me do this. Johan. Hello, Johan. Okay, please hold on for me. Hello, can you all see? Can you see it now? Can you see the question now? Hello.
Yes.
Is the question there? Is it okay? It's appearing now, right?
Yes.
All right, just a moment for me, please. Hello there. My apologies for that, but I'm back now. We can continue. But I hope everybody does hear me. Sorry for that. Let's look at this question quickly, where it says the following transaction is for Putty Limited for the year for the period ended 31st December 2020, and the transactions are VAT inclusive at 15%, right? So I'm going to ask you guys to actually unmute yourself so that we can all partake on these transactions. Please make sure that you do that. Unmute, unmute, unmute. Thank you. And make sure that you do control your noise at your background. Okay. Hello. But transaction number 1 says that there's cash sales of the trading stock with an amount of 4,000. Sorry for this. Please do mute yourself back, and then you can come back when you've got questions, because there's a noise at your back. My apologies. I'm going to ask you to mute yourself back. There's a movement of the cars at your back. Thank you. Right. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to ask you questions, and then you need to unmute yourself when you've got a solution for me. Right. But we need to be open to each other throughout the entire questions, because I need to make sure or test that you guys do understand. Right. Transaction number 1 says that the cash sales for trading stock, it amounts to an amount of 4,500 rand. Okay. Let's have a look at what is required. The question is actually quite simple. The required part is actually quite simple. It says that please prepare the following VAT accounts in a form of T formats, right? They need the input along with the output. Okay. So here is the thing. Immediately when I give you the transactions, you tell me where it originates, and then where it affects your input or your output, and what would the calculations look like. Right. Number 1, it says the cash sales for trading stock, it amounts to 4,500 rand. What do you think of this transaction?
I think it's bank.
Is there?
Cash sale.
It's a cash sale.
Yes. Can you say bank made cost of sales?
Cost of sales in the bank. Sorry, we need to deal with the books of first entry or the cash book analysis. This transaction would include your cash receipts payments, your CPJ, your purchases journal, and the returns sales journal, as well as the returns of it.
It's CPJ.
Is it a CPJ?
Yes. I don't know.
It is a CRG.
It's a CRG. CRJ.
Yes.
Okay. Any opposed? Anyone with an opposing idea? Right. Well, that's correct. It's a CRJ because you're selling goods, and obviously, when you sell goods on credit, the expectation is to receive the money immediately. Okay. So, how would the VAT look like here? VAT input or VAT output, and how? How are you going to calculate your VAT amount? You're right. It's CRJ.
It is a VAT output.
It's a VAT output, right?
You'll have to take the 4,500 times 15 divided by 115, since the VAT is 15%.
Come again, please. Please start over on the calculations. Is it 4,500?
Yes, it is. Right. The amount of VAT is inclusive, so you'll have to calculate the VAT amount. You'll have to do 4,500 times 15 divided by 115.
Divided by 115.
Yes.
Okay, quickly, how much are you guys getting back?
675.
580.
I get 675.
587.
Is it 587?
587. 7.
Okay, let's see. Right, I've got 586.9, which is rounded off to 587. Okay. Would it be okay if I say it's CRJ? Please unmute yourself. You with the radio there, please do unmute yourself. Please do mute yourself. CRJ and what vet? So is it input or is it output? Input or output? Input or output? Whoever gave me the solution of 5, it's sorry. Is it an output?
VAT output.
VAT output, right? I'm gonna back up your answer. Why do you want to tell? Why do you say it's a VAT output?
Since it is a said, so we apply the VAT output. If it was the expenditure, we're going to use the VAT input.
That's very correct. Did you all hear what she said? Right. When the sale occurs, it means that you attract the VAT output, okay, because you are receiving an income, or even if an income is due for your firm in the future. Okay. Right, it's a CRJ. Please do not unmute yourself if you don't have the questions. Otherwise, we're going to have a conflict of communication. Okay. If you do have an answer for me, then you're more than welcome to unmute yourself. Do not unmute yourself if you don't have an answer for the questions that I pose. I hope I'm clear on that one. Right, thank you so much for that. And the lady who just asked me there, where would you put this amount? It's a CRJ, and then it will attract the VAT input, right? It will attract the VAT input, but on the T account, where would it go?
On the credit side.
On the credit side. On the credit side, right?
Yes.
Right. Let's look at transaction number 2. It says 15 used company microwaves were sold for cash with an amount of 800 Rand each. Any take? Any take quickly? Okay, company have realized that the microwave is no longer available for the firms, and normally they do this kind of transactions towards the staff. Things like your cars, if they reach a certain amount of kilometers and they say, okay, it's now qualified for a disposal internally. So normally they would sell it through to the internal staff. Okay, but at the end of the day, they're making revenue out of that. Then how would you do this? How would you record this? What's your calculations on this? What do you see basically? Is it a CRJ? Is it a CPJ? Is it a sales journal? Is it a purchases journal? What is it? What is it actually?
It is a CRJ.
It's a CRJ, right? So the same process would follow the same process would be followed again. So you'd say how much? 800 multiplied by 15, right? And then you multiply that by 1.5, and then you divide that by 115. Okay? Makes sense?
Yeah.
Just like this. Using the multiplications, multiply by 15, and then you multiply that by 15 again, then you divide it by 5. You understand why the 15, right? Because in total, there were a number of 15 microwaves. Happy? Right, I'm getting a final amount of 1565. 1565. Happy?
Yes.
Are you all getting that?
Yes.
Okay, and you just advised me that it's a CRJ, and obviously it will be a VAT output. Right. Right, let's have a look at transaction number 3. Inventories to the value of 5,400 Rand were sold on credit to Mr. Miller. What's your take on this?
It involved the sales journal.
Sales journal.
Yes.
Okay, and then why is that?
Since the inventory is sold on credit.
Since the inventory has been sold out on credit. Thank you very much for that. The key issue or the key word there would be the credit. There's a difference between your cash sales as well as your cash, your credit sale. When you sell goods on credit, we did this yesterday. When you sell goods on credit, it affects your debtors. It means that you are raising your debtors. So the primary journal to account for this transaction will be your sales journal. Can you see that? Can you all see that?
Yes.
Yes.
You just helped me there. Let's see. So it's an amount of what? 5.4 multiplied by 1.5 divided by 115, right? What's the final figure there quickly?
704.
I got 704 as well. I hope everybody has 704. Guys, if you don't understand, because I know some of you in the background, they might fail to understand. There's nothing wrong with that. Make sure that you raise your hand and ask me that question. Happy?
Yes.
Yes.
That's all right. It sounds like I'm talking to two people here. What? It's a sales journal and it's also a VAT output, right? Output. Right. Transaction number 4. The company has sold car parts as a part of the trading inventory for 30,000 Rand. And they've received a check payment. What is the difference between the check and the payment and the cash? In terms of the accounting treatment, do you think there's a difference between the cash and the check payment? Do you guys think that there's a cash payment? Is there a difference in terms of the accounting treatment? Is there a difference between the cash and the check payment? Somebody with a noise there? There's somebody with a noise in their background. What is there a difference between the cash payment and the cash payment in terms of the accounting treatment?
I think no.
No. Anybody with an opinion? Who's opposing her? She say no.
I say yes.
You say yes. Right? The one who said no, why? And the one who said why? Do you have a background? Sorry, do you have a reason behind what you say? Why do you say no? Any reason in particular for your no?
We both receiving payment, so hence I'm saying no. But for the check payment, it will depend whether it will have money or not gonna have money. But
Okay.
for this transaction, because we are receiving money, we're gonna record it on the CRJ until if maybe the check bounce back. That's when we're gonna have to amend it.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's quite a good explanation on that. Somebody, are you the one who said yes or no? You said yes, right? Come on, people. Who said no? Please do elaborate when you said no.
I just responded. I'm the one who said no.
You're the one who said no. Who said yes? Okay. Then the thing is your response doesn't correlate with your answer, but it's quite a good response. Who said yes? Please give me the base of why you're saying yes. Why do you say there's a difference?
I said yes, that there is a difference, because when the goods are sold for cash, maybe the cash is exchanged between hands. But if it is sold by receiving a check will have to be presented to the bank so that the bank can clear it, something like that.
All right. Okay, in terms, well, the process with regards to receiving that payment, it's quite different in a sense that if it's a cash, let's say they do what's called an EFT, probably take like a few hours or a day or so. But if it's a check, obviously you need declaration as part of the confirmation from the bank. Makes sense. But in terms of the accounting treatment, it's no different, because at the end of the day, it will be a check. Sorry, it will be regarded as a cash. Right. So the method of payment with it, which is a cash or EFT or the check, in terms of the accounting treatment, it's regarded as a check, a cash. My apologies for that, rather. So in terms of the accounting treatment, it's actually regarded as a cash. So that means that immediately when you receive the cash payment, you're going to record that under your cash receipts journal. Okay. And then EFT, obviously, you're going to do, or you're going to follow the process with regards to tracking down your EFT payments. And then you're going to record that under your CRJ as well. Okay. So there's entirely no difference with regards to the accounting treatment when it comes to those kind of payments. So it's actually the same thing. Right. So what would be the answer here? Would the answer be, we have received the cash, the check payment of 30,000 rand, which is going to be regarded as a cash, right? So this is basically what you're going to do. You say 30,000 multiplied by 15 divided by 115, right? And you said it's a CRJ transaction, right? And add output. Makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
So can somebody help me? I've got 30,000 multiplied by 15 divided by 115. I got 3913. Did you guys get that?
Yes.
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 3913. Okay, then it's going to be regarded as the VAT input under your cash payment journal. Okay. Right, number 5 is a cash sale of 9,000. So this one it's also the same thing, right? It's going to be
Yes.
a CRJ, which is going to be 9,000. Then you multiply that by 15, then you divide it by 115. Right, this is one thing that you need to actually bear in mind. Sometimes they would just say that the transactions are VAT inclusive. So meaning that it is your responsibility to know that the country is actually running at a 15% VAT. Happy?
Yes.
Just need to know that a VAT percentage at this point in time it's 15, and then you divide that. So it's 15%. All right, I've got a different question altogether before we move to question number 6. Who do you think is responsible for amending the rates in terms of your tax? The Treasury Department, as well as the South African Revenue Service. Anybody quickly? Who do you think is responsible for making the amendment with regards to the changes in terms of the VAT percentages or the VAT rates? Who would say that companies qualify for 28%, or the citizens are obliged to pay 15% towards their goods when they are sold or when they make the purchase in terms of the VAT? Or your CGT, whatever the type of VAT it might be. Who do you think between the Treasury Department and the South African Reserve Bank is responsible for those changes?
South African Reserve Bank.
The South African Reserve Bank. Who? Anybody? Anybody with a different opinion? Who says Treasury? Okay, I'll take it as no one else is actually says treasury. But let me tell you this. The Minister of Finance is the only sole person who is responsible to amend your tax rates. Okay? They are responsible to go through that channel. The South African Reserve Bank, they are the administrator of those things, meaning that they don't have control as to, okay, you as Titombeweni, you are saying now that the VAT is 15%, and then we want it as 14%. SARS doesn't have a control over that. All they do is they just have to comply with what the Treasury Department says. Okay. So if you're doing tax 1501, you've got your answer for one of the questions. If you get this kind of a question as part of your multiple choice questions, you must kill it. Right. Moving on there, I've got the final figure of 1174. Did you all get that?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
1174. Right. Okay, we've received a direct payment from Mr. Mujela for an amount of 6,000 Rand. What do you think of this? Right. I've got a bulletin underneath there where it says that there was a settlement discount of 400 Rand that was actually granted for early payment. Right. As I've explained yesterday through to you, and I said that we normally encourage our clients to actually make the payment quite quickly. And then how do we do that too? Why do we, like, one of the method of encouraging them to make some quick payments is you grant them the discount. So the same thing applies to, I'm sure you guys are getting the message now to say that it's Black Friday on Friday, or we've got what's called the early Friday and Woodwords or Truwords and stuff like that. They'll tell you about the 40% or 50%, or if the season are changing when they want to move their, let's say we're moving from winter to summer and they want to move their winter clothes on the shelves. So they would say, let's make some promotions and give them to clients with 50% discounts. I'm sure you guys have seen something like that. It's adverts that they do appear on our radios and TVs all the time, right? And then you get some SMSs, some of you, right? So that's a good way of the companies to encourage quick sales, okay? If the company wants you to make quick sales, so they will just say, we're moving out winter clothes on the shelves, and then we are giving you a 50% discount on that. Okay. So that's how you actually make the sales. Can somebody participate for me on this payment that we have received? We have received a direct payment from Mr. Mujela with an amount of 6,000 Rand. Where does it go, and how is the VAT structure on this?
It goes
Quickly.
to it. Since we have received a direct payment, it goes to CRJ.
CRJ.
Yes.
Okay.
And then the amount of 6,000 must be subtracted with 400.
400.
That will give 5,600.
5,600.
And then on that amount, we'll have to take out also the 15% of VAT.
From 5,600 Rand. Or
yes.
from which amount? Okay.
From 5,600 Rand. And then from 400 Rand, we take out the 15% VAT inputs.
VAT.
Yes.
Okay. Right, this is how her answer is actually. I like your logical thinking based on this questions. So are you saying 6,000 Rand, and then you minus 400 for the discounts? Then I close the bracket and then you multiply this by 15, you divide it by 115. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. And then it goes further down for the settlements. And you said 400?
400
multiplied this by 1.5,
yes.
divided by 115. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. All right. So that's where you're ending.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, thank you so much for that. But do you want to tell me why do you say it's a VAT input?
Sorry, repeat again.
Why do you say 400 Rand amounts to the VAT input? Because if you can look at the transactions between 1 to 6, they are no difference. But we all said that they all pertain to what's your VAT output. Why do you say it's a VAT input?
And 400, since it
Yes.
is a settlement discount received, so it will, you have to deduct the VAT that they put you paid. It is, you have to reduce the VAT.
You have to reduce the VAT. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're very correct on that one. And I'm very much impressed about how you are recording your transactions. But anyway, I'd like to hear any other input on this. Who's got a different input on this? Any suggestions? You can't tell me out of all these people that are actually online now, they don't have an idea of what is what. Tell me what you are thinking. Imagine yourself being in an exam room. Feel yourself like you are actually in the exam room. If you're faced up with this kind of transaction, are you going to ignore it, especially if you've got time?
I think my answer is almost the same like her answer. So you're gonna say 6,000 minus 400, and
Okay.
then you get 5,600. Then you take the 5,600, you times by 15, divide by 1,115, and then you get your 730, which is gonna be your VAT input.
Okay. Any opposing solution? Okay, I'm going to start with the payment received. All right. Thank you so much for those two suggestions on that. Well done on that. On the payment received, you don't have to multiply this by 15 divided by 115. Let me give you the background. Why am I saying that? Is because the assumption would be when you make the sale, remember when you say, immediately when you say you are receiving the direct payment from this person, you are receiving this direct, the direct payment from Mr. Mujela for 6,000 Rand, right? And then you are getting the settlement discounts of, you're giving him the settlement discounts of 400 Rand. So the assumption would be, this person was a debtor before, and they're settling the account at this point in time. And then that's when you are actually receiving the money. Okay, so the assumption would be, by the time you made the credit sale to the client, tax was charged. VAT was actually inclusive in there. Make sense?
Yes.
Right. So with the settlement discount granted, you're correct, because it's coming the other way differently. So when you grant settlement, because you're not going to receive the original amount, which worth what you've sold your asset for, obviously it's going to be regarded as an expenditure for the company. It's more like a reverse transaction in a sense that you're making a payment now to the client. Okay. Let me give you an example in this way. You are expecting me to pay you 6,000 Rand. Okay, or you're expecting me to pay you 500 Rand. And this is how it goes. Out of the 500 Rand, you say, put in all, because you pay me before the expected period. I'm going to give you a 50 Rand discount on that one. Okay, so the accounting treatment would say, because that's an expenditure for the firm, you understand, it's going to be treated like it's a CPJ transaction. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Instead of you receiving the original 500 Rand, you are receiving 450. We cannot just say, okay, it's fine. We gave you the discount and then it's going to be just like that. We need to record that to show that we have given you the discounts. Okay, it's an issue that perpetuates up until or further, in a sense that when you produce your financials to whoever your auditors are, and then you didn't record your settlements, okay, in your CRJ or in your financial statements there, and they're going to ask you, okay, you authorize this discount, but where's the recording of it, right? You remember the issue when I was telling you about the incomplete record yesterday? Moving with one leg, and obviously you're looking for the second leg. This is how you have to record that. So when the samples are actually extracted by the auditors with regards to the settlement granted, and then it's not recorded, or your point that in inexperienced bookkeeper, where they do the mixed up of the transaction, that's where the issue should lie. Okay. So this is where they say that because you're not showing the settlement, the settlement discount granted. At the end of the day, if you're granting, okay, the settlement discount granted, it will be an expense for the firm, right? So obviously, it's going to add up greater towards your expenses. And if you don't put it, it means your expenses will be understated, and then your net profit will be higher. You understand? And it's going to have the entire SARS implications with regards to your tax, your company tax that you have to pay. Happy? Can I move to transaction number 7? Right, we paid Paint Stars on account with an amount of 2,800 Rand, and then we have received the discount of 150. This time around, we are receiving the discount. We paid 2.8, and then we are receiving the discount of 150. Okay, so on the 6 transactions, we have received the payment. But this time around, Puti Limited is making a payment. Who want to take a shot on this one quickly?
When you pay, we register it in the CPJ.
We are
Registering the transaction in the CPJ since
in the CPJ.
Yes. And we reduce the 2,800 from 150 to reduce the discount.
Right. Okay.
And from the discount, we take out also the 15% for VAT input.
For the VAT input.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Out of the 150,000 Rand now, you are taking the VAT input. And why is that? 150 multiplied by 15 divided by 115. And then you say that is the VAT input.
I don't know.
You don't know?
Yes.
Okay. Somebody who wants to help it. Thank you so much for that. Somebody who wants to help it, but it's actually the opposite of your transaction number 6. All right, transaction number 6, we have sorry.
No, I wanted to take a chance as well.
Please do go. Please go. Thank you for that. Please do.
I think it's CPJ because we're paying out, and on the 2.8, I think a discount was already taken into account. Could that be?
Okay. All right.
Okay, the discount will take out 15%. That 15% will represent the VAT output, not VAT input.
Not the VAT input, right? The VAT output.
Yes.
Okay. The lady who spoke before you, sorry for the interruptions. I think I didn't hear quite clearly on you.
No, I'm saying if for paid paint, is it CPJ? The 2.8. I'm not sure about this one. That on the 2.8, the VAT was taken into account. So now, in this instance, I think it's an VAT input on the actual payment because we're paying out.
All right. Because we paying out, right? Because we are paying out. Because
correct.
You go silent on me. Okay. Because we are making the payment of 2,800 Rand. Okay, well then that's fine. That's correct there. The treatment would be the same as your transaction number 6. I'm very much concerned on where it says that the receipt with regards to the discount of 150. Okay. This is us this time around. It's Pooty Limited. My company it's actually getting a discount, okay? And simply because we are actually making an early payment to whoever the supplier is, right? So with regards to the discount that has been received, this time around the treatment would be, it's an income for the firm. It's not going to be an expenditure for the firm. But if you look at the initial transaction of, transaction number 7, it initiated with an expense that worth 2,800. Can you see that? Which is why I think you are saying, why you say it's an expense, where you say 2.8 multiplied by 15 divided by 115. Why? That's why you're saying it's a VAT input, which is fine, okay? But with the discount received, remember, instead of us paying 2,800 rand, we're paying it lower by 150 rands, okay? That's going to be an income for the business. And that's why you're going to say, you're going to put it under, I think under your purchases, and then you say plus 150 for the discount received. Or you put it under your other incomes in your statement of profit and loss and say settlement discount received of 150. But you have to split it by saying 150 divided by 5. That is 15 rands, right?
No, it's not 15 rand.
It's not 15 rands. Okay, I got 20 rands. It's 19.5.
Yes, it's 20.
Is it fine?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, let's have a look at transaction number 8. Goods were sold on credit to J. Foxy for 6,000 rands. Go. What's the primary journal for this transaction?
Sales journals.
Sales journal.
Okay. All right, let me ask you this. Do you guys understand what the accounting cycle is? Do you guys understand what the accounting cycle is? All right. Theoretically speaking, when it comes to the accounting cycle, it would lead you to quite a blind in terms of an understanding. But if you've joined one of the corporate companies in SA, that's when you would realize, because especially a company that has a bigger cycles. Bigger cycles, I mean, different divisions that we are actually dealing with in here, okay? For example, UNISA is a very big institution in this sense. We've got a sections that deals with trade and other receivables, which is called your student accounts, where you guys come and say, I need my statement, how much is my outstanding fees, right? But this is how it originates. You go and do what's called the TP, which is the temporary registration, okay? And they tell you, this is the minimum payment, and this is how we're going to structure your payment cycles. So it's twice in a semester and 3 times in a year, okay? And it goes in this way. Immediately when you pay the minimum payment, whatever the outstanding amount, it's going to be raised as you being the debtor towards this institution. That's why UNISA has a section. Finance department, we've got a section called student debtors and sundries. They are responsible for your student accounts. Okay, the reason why I'm saying that is because I want you to relate what you guys are doing in the accounting theory and to practice, okay? Just to ensure that what you guys are doing is actually quite real. Okay. Being UNISA being big as well, we've got in our finance, the finance section, we've got the section called trade and other payables. Okay, that's the creditors. Probably one of the policy would allow them to say, let's hire an external company to be responsible of universities. Okay, so as and when they work, they're going to submit the invoices with whatever the documents and obviously the process with regards to paying out those people, it will be followed. Okay, and then we've got so forth and so forth and so. But can you see on how the liabilities and the assets are structured within the UNISA? Can you see that? Can you see that? Okay, and we've got a section in finance that deals with the salaries. Nobody can go to work and work for free, okay? Unless if you are actually working for the charity organizations. The people that are responsible for, they would say, okay, Puti is appointed by UNISA. He's actually earning R2 a month. You understand? So I'm going to be appearing on their payroll or with regards to the administration process in terms of how they're going to pay me and stuff like that. So those section is going to be responsible for that. Can you see that we've got a section that deals with an expenditure called salaries and wages? So that's how it's actually going to be dealt with. But I'm trying to explain the accounting cycle. I think it's in your learning unit. You need to understand that. Why am I saying that? Because you understand, okay, transaction number one, or what is it? Step number one, it carries this. Step number two, it carries this. I think step number one is where you deal with your transactions and the source documents. And then step number two, it deals with your cash book analysis. That's where you're dealing with the cash receipts, cash payments, sales journal, purchases journal, and so forth. And step number three, I'm not sure what could it be, but at the end of, I think step number 5 or 6, you're going to deal with what's called the financials. Financials deals in this way. I'm just going to give an example with one section. Data section, for example, that is the section deals with you, okay, as the data towards the institution. What they do is they're going to have each and every student number for the student who does all the university, okay? And they combine or they consolidate each and every outstanding amount, okay? And then they combine that, they form what's called the trade and other receivables control account. It's what we did, okay? Meaning that the university is going to have what's called an individual ledger account, okay? Individual ledger account at the end of the semester or at the end of the second or the first payment cycle. And they combine all of those amount for the students that they owe the university. And they transfer that to a trade other receivables control account. Okay, that's unfortunately on how accounting works. Same applies with your trade and other payables account. All the list with your creditors, they're going to be added together, and then you make a console. At the end of the day, you come up with a summary of, a sum up of a total, and then you put it under your trade and other payables control account. And that's it. You disclose it as it is. Right. So I think it's in your learning unit 1. Make sure you read that. And why am I saying that? It fits quite well to be asked in the current semester multiple choice question. Right. So you don't just read for the sake of reading. You read that simply because it might be examined in your current semester exam. Theoretically, it fits very well. Everybody happy?
Yes.
All right. Let me just follow what you said. You said 2.8, and you multiply that by 15, you divided that by 115. How much are you getting? I'm getting 365 rands. Right?
Yes.
With the discount received, it's 150. My apologies. It's 150. You multiply that by 15, and then you divide it by 115. Does it work with 20 rands?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just going to leave it like that. Let's have a look at transaction number 8. The goods were sold on credit. I think we were here. Sorry, my apologies. Supposed to say. Somebody said it's a sales journal transaction, right? You multiply this by, you divide it by 115. How much are you getting? 6,000 quickly. I've got 783.
783.
Okay, cool. So you said it's a sales journal account, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the VAT what? Input, output?
Output.
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 Okay. And there we go. Why do you say it's a VAT output?
Since it is a sale, so
Since
it
it's a
is
sale.
VAT. Yes.
Okay. Let me ask you this. The goods, okay, the original transaction of the goods that were sold in credit to J. Foxy for 6,000 Rand. How would your journal look like? Forget about the VAT for now. And then tell me on how you're going to, if you receive a transactions like this, how would your journal look like? What are we debiting here?
We can debit the cost of sale.
The cost of sales.
And then you credit the inventories.
Inventory.
And then you debit also the debtors.
Debtors.
And you credit the sales.
You said debit the cost of sales?
Yes.
Okay.
You credit the inventories.
Inventory on credit.
And then you debit also the debtors.
Credit. And you debit what?
You debit debtors. Okay. And you credit sales.
Sales.
Yeah.
Debit this and you credit
sales.
Sales. That's perfectly well. That's very good. Okay. Can you all see that? Can you all see that? Right. Thank you for breaking it down for me. I've got a question for you. What is your understanding between the relationship on the cost of sales and the goods that were sold on credit?
Since the goods are sold, before you sell the goods, you have to determine the cost of sale of those goods.
Okay.
And the cost of sale of those goods is made of initial inventories,
okay,
plus purchases minus final stock inventories.
Minus the closing stock.
Yes.
Okay. I'm not sure if everybody's clear or is actually on the same page with you, and thank you so much for that. What she's saying is in order for you to get the cost of sales, you remember the process, you know the process. Your opening stock, which is your opening inventory, and then you add your carriage on purchases, and your input duties might be there, and then you minus your closing stock. That's what you said, right?
Yeah.
And then you get that, the cost of sales.
Yes.
Okay. We thank you for that. Well, yes, it's a sales journal account and it's a VAT output account. And how much did you get? Was it 6,000 Rand? And then you multiply this by 15, you divide it by 1 month, right?
783.
783. Thank you. So, oh, I got it there. Okay, let's look at transaction number 9. The cash purchase of trading inventory from Tiger Brands for an amount of 4,800 Rand.
It is registered.
CPJ?
Yes.
CPJ?
Yes.
It's a CPJ account.
Yeah.
And okay, let me do this. CPJ and Obviously, there's a VAT on it.
Yes, the VAT is a VAT input.
VAT input. Okay.
Yes.
So you're going to have 4.8, and then you multiply this by 15, and then you divide it by 115. Okay. Right, let's have a look at transaction number 10. You are receiving the payment from Mr. Miller with an amount of 2300, and you're allowing him a discount of 300 Rand. Okay, let me give you an idea on how you should understand this kind of a transaction. Accounting has this notion of they structure their transactions in a sense that you need to think with an assumption that a transaction had originally occurred from somewhere before it is what it is now.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know if you get my point. Remember, with regards to how you treat the VAT. Okay, let me explain something with regards to how you treat the VAT or your relationship between the VAT vendors and SARS. So this is how the implication goes. You sell goods on credit, for example. Remember, when you sell goods on credit, you don't receive the money immediately. Do you get what I'm saying? But the tricky part comes into this picture. SARS would say, okay, we understand that you haven't received the money immediately, but that's your problem. You need to pay us what you owe us. So look, listen to what the VAT implications would be like. You sold your trading stock on credit. Clients are paying you on a monthly basis, or they're paying you on whatever the agreement term you had with them. Okay. And initially, when you sold the goods, you haven't received the money. And SARS says, you've signed an agreement that you would pay us the VAT, or you submit your returns on a monthly basis for your VAT. Okay. You're going to submit that kind of a transaction as part of your package through to SARS. And they would say, okay, you owe us an amount of, let's say, 300 Rand out of the goods that you've sold for 3,000 Rand. Then you need to pay us immediately. Okay, you would recover that as and when your clients are actually paid. And you see that initially or indirectly, it's more like you're running at a loss because you are paying something that is not guaranteed that you can receive in the future. Make sense? So the risk would be that there's a car movement at your background there. I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself. The risk is the same as when you need to register you on a credit, when you make the minimum payment, they're not sure whether you're going to pay them in the future, but they take the risk of, okay, let's send him the packaging material so that he can study. And we hope that he would pay or he would actually comply with the payment cycle that we offer you. Okay, but you need to think on this one, it's going to be relevant. Why am I saying that? Is because the NGOs or NPOs, I don't think they do pay that as much as I do remember. You don't pay for your tuition fee. So, but here's the thing: you sold credit to ever, but SARS says that I want my payment now because it's recorded as it's an income, it's a sale that has occurred, and you are a VAT vendor. Please do pay me now, and then you will deal with your clients later. So you pay them whatever that you owe, the 300 Rand that you owe. And the problem with VAT is this: clients go away. You sold them goods on credit, they never came back. They never even pay you a single cent. And then what do you do in that instance? Are you going to say, okay, SARS, I'll just do you a favor and then keep the 300 Rand that I pay you for my credit sales transaction that I made to my clients? Okay, so this kind of a transaction is under your trade and other receivables control account lending unit. Please do make sure that you do that. That's how they can trick you in the exam this time around. Okay, but let me give you an advice. Tip of advice on how you can treat that kind of a transaction. You go back to SARS and tell them that, guys, my client hasn't paid me. You produce whatever the proof that you have, and then I need the amount of money that I have paid you back. Make sense? Make sense? Okay, let me just say it again. You're selling goods. I'm selling goods on credit to you for 7,000 Rand. And then when I do my calculations, I found out that my VAT on the sales, on the credit sales goods that I've sold to you, it amounts to, let's assume it's 350 Rand. And then SARS says that pay me because you are on a monthly payment basis with us. And I paid them 350. Can you see on the laws? Subsequently, it's a loss that you incur towards SARS because you don't know whether you're going to receive that amount of money from the client in the future or not. Then at a go, the instant report, the client goes, run away, they don't pay, and that's it. Okay? Then you're going to have a problem on your financial simply because this client hasn't paid you. And then you need to go back to SARS and say, I understand. This is the relationship that I have with you in terms of the payment basis, but I need my money back. And I'm going to produce this document to say that my client hasn't paid me.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, yes, it does.
Right. Is it expenditure when you pay it out, or is it a liability when you actually due to pay it? You receive it back. How are you going to treat that? It's going to be regarded as what? An income from SARS.
An income.
Okay, I'm giving you that tip because I know students struggle a lot when it comes to that. They just don't know where to record transactions with regards to that. When it comes to the T account on VAT, we are having a problem with that. Okay, but I gave you a tip. Do that transaction under your trade and other receivables. It's there. It's quite complicated. Make sure that you spend about 30 minutes to 20 minutes and do that one specifically. Okay, otherwise you can do your, your cash journals, and then you will be able to have an idea as to how does it work. Right. So 4.8 multiplied by 1.5 divided by 1.15, how much are you getting? I got 626.
Yes.
Yes.
Is it 626?
Yes.
All right. Sorry, before I move to transaction number 10, the lady who gave me a lot of solutions to these questions, were you in the class yesterday?
Yes, I was there, but I came late.
Oh, I see. I see now. You came late at about what time?
Maybe 10:30. I missed quite a lot.
Okay. Yeah, I'm surprised because it's the first time I hear your voice and it sounds like you were not in the class yesterday. I was expecting you to actually participate on this, on what we did. Were you in the class on a Monday?
I missed also the Monday one.
Or you missed, or you only joined yesterday, but you joined today.
Yes.
Did you have an idea on what we did yesterday, if I may ask?
Yes, I did. I only had a problem on the reconciling of creditors list. So you added some number there of 1,500. So I wanted to ask you a question.
All right. Shall we see that when we are done?
Yes, please.
Okay, cool then. Thank you for that. I'm gonna move to transaction number 10, where it says we have received a payment. No, okay. How do we disclose this one? Sorry.
Sorry, Pucci, can I ask you a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Since some of us, okay, I'm talking for myself here. This is the first time I'm attending a class. I see you already had 2 classes. So where can I find the recording of the 2 classes that you had?
The recording has been updated on. Let me. Can you see this? Please have a look at my screen.
Okay.
Nothing shows.
Nothing showing? Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Is it showing?
Oh, yes. Okay. No, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, This is where you have to go and tune in for the recording.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right. Please do note it down. The one with the blue. Make sure that you write it down.
And yes, regarding this website, I went to it, but I couldn't get through because it says I need to be given access. So are you the one giving access? How does it go?
I'm going to speak with my colleague here, Johan. I know he's actually listening on the other side here. Let me try and actually call him and find out how does it work. To be honest with you, I'm not sure on how does it work. All I know is I'm here, I'm recorded, and they post me. Okay, but what I can tell you is definitely it's not me who's giving you access. Mr. De Beer, Johan, please, if you do hear me, I need clarity on something, please. Right, Johan or Greg, or whoever that might be listening, as my colleagues, please do help me. All right, I think if they do hear me, one of them will just come advise us on that. Thank you for raising that. Any other thing? To those that they came in late. All right, let me do this because I received quite a lot of emails from your side, and if you came in today, let me give you my email, and please have a look here at what I'm writing down. This is my email, and they're all lowercase, right? Can you all see this email?
Yes.
Can you all see this?
Let's just take it. Is it Lacoste or L cost?
Sorry. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's Lacoste.
Okay.
1920@live.co.uk. They're all lower cases, not upper cases. Let me know when you're done. Please make sure you write this down, and you can pose whatever the questions that you have. Normally I send out through the summary of the notes or the questions that we did together with the solutions via the email. Obviously it will be upon your request. Okay. Right, one more thing. I'm gonna ask, do we have Tepo in the class? Tepo Pule. Please raise your hands if you are in the class. No, he's not here today, right? Can I delete this? You all wrote it down? Okay. Right, transaction number, I think we are now on 10. Received a payment from Mr. Miller with an amount of 2,300 Rand, and the discount allowed to him was an amount of 300 Rand. Quickly, please help me out with the recording and the recording of this transaction. So when you receive a payment from the debtor, where does it go? Okay, it doesn't matter. When you receive a payment from somebody,
you register it in the CRJ.
CRJ, right?
And you reduce the 300 discount from the 2,300.
Okay. CRJ and VAT what? Does it amount to VAT? Is there VAT here?
Yes, there must be VAT.
Or it's going to be? Is it an input or an output? Output, right?
Output.
Okay, let's have a look at the settlement. Is there a VAT on the settlements?
Yes.
How much?
300 times 15 over 115.
300 of 15 divided by 115. I got 39 rands. Okay.
Yes.
What VAT is this? Input, output?
Input.
VAT, input. Right. It results in an expenditure. That's why it's an input. You agree? Okay.
Yes.
That's some breakdown of the calculations there. We'll see what the solutions amounts to. Right. Number 11, my apologies. There was a purchase of inventory on credit from Glasgow Limited for an amount of 6,000 rand. Recording, how does it look like? Okay. Or which books of entries, first entries are
CPJ.
CPJ?
Yes.
Any objection?
The VAT is 6,000 times 15 over
Okay.
115. It
VAT
is
what?
VAT input.
Input. Any objection on this, or is everybody fine? Everybody's happy, right? Okay, I want you guys to look at this transaction very carefully and tell me if you can recognize this word.
I have an opinion.
Which is? Please go ahead.
Isn't it that when we purchase on credit, it goes to our purchases journal?
Yes.
Thank you very much. That's why I'm highlighting this credit here. Okay, so the CPJ, I'm sure you'd agree with me if I can say it's not correct. So it's the purchases journal. And the VAT remains an input. So it will be an amount of 6,000 rand. Then you multiply this by 15 and then you divide that by 115. Okay. How much did you get?
783.
782.6, right? So it's going to be 783.
Yes.
We are rounding it off here, 783. Right. So you made an EFT payments to what telecom for company communications with an amount of 2,000 rands. We paid. South Africa has a lot of telecommunication companies at this point in time, right? So if you look at your accounting books, particularly the high school ones, back in the years, Telkom used to run as a monopoly in the country. So every payment that you made under the accounting for telecommunication, it would go to Telkom. Okay. So they never thought that they would have this challenge from the MTN, your Vodacom, your Cell C, your Rain, you name them, right? But they're here now in the picture. So they change the whole structure with regards to Telkom being seen as a monopoly company. Okay, which it was quite a challenge on that. Right. So what I'm trying to say is back in then, at this point in time, you can be flexible with your transactions and say that I paid for my communications to Cell C, you pay them to MTN, you pay them to Rain or whoever. Okay. So effect here, what's the effect? Hello, CPJ?
Yes.
Yes.
A CPJ.
Right? And it's a VAT input, right?
Yes.
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 So it will be an amount of 2,000 rand, and then you multiply this by 15, you divide it by 115. How much are you getting?
260.
256.
60.
Or 260 should be
Or
261.
261.
61, right? All right. Number 13 says that you paid Bay Productions for an advert shooting with an amount of 3,000 rand by EFT. Okay, so it's the same principle, right?
Yes.
CPJ.
Yes.
input and VAT input, right?
Yes.
VAT input. Okay. And it's an amount of how much? 3,000. You multiply it by
391. Yes.
351.
391.
91.
391.
391. Thank you. Right. The goods were returned to Glasgow Limited to the value of 1,000 rand. Help me out quickly here. What's the recording here?
Purchase
Purchases
return.
return now.
It's a PRJ, right?
Yes.
This is returns here now. And it's a VAT what?
VAT output.
VAT output. Thank you. What? Tell me why it's a VAT output.
Since it is the goods that are returned, we want to increase the amount that, reduce the amount that we owe to SARS.
Okay. So initially, when we bought this goods on credit from Glasgow, sorry, when we purchased them, yeah. So yeah, when we purchased, we bought them on credit. So it affected the VAT input now. So now we are returning them back, right?
Yeah.
Meaning that the opposite should be the VAT output. Okay. Same applies to when we moved from the purchases journal to the purchases returns journal, simply because the goods are returned. Okay. How much are you getting there?
130.
113 or 130?
Yes.
I think that's 130 as well here. Right, number 15 says that the opening balance for the VAT output, for the output VAT is 1.8, for the VAT input is 2,200 rand. What do you do with these transactions?
You open up the VAT control account.
The VAT control account.
You
So-
credit it with VAT output for 1,800, and you debit it with VAT input with 2,200.
That's 2,200 rand. Thank you so much for that. Okay, so I want us to have the responsibility now of calculating the VAT input amounts for CRJ, VAT input for CPJ, right? VAT input RJ, VAT input. Okay, I've got the CRJ up there for PJ, right? So purchases journal, it has a VAT input, right?
Sorry, there is
For a PJ, right?
but the third bullet, VAT input for CRG, is already written.
Yeah, it's actually on the third one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, CRJ. Okay, let's have a look at that. We're looking for the VAT input for the CRJ. Number one, does it fit? It's a yes, right? No. It's a VAT output. Okay. Okay. I've got a question for you. Please make sure that you don't make the noise in the background there. Which transaction would likely be have an effect on the VAT input under your CRJ? Which transaction can create that?
When it is a buying or purchasing of goods, whether it is on credit or on cash, it will have an impact on the VAT input.
on the VAT input under the CRJ.
VAT input is on CPJ, but VAT output, yes, VAT output on CRJ.
So the VAT, okay, the VAT output is only under the CPJ, sorry, the CRJ, and the VAT input is only under the CPJ. That's what you are saying.
Yes.
Okay, so there's no transaction that can cause the VAT input under the CRJ. Is that what you're saying?
There is.
That's what I'm asking.
When there is a return of goods, that transaction will cause an impact on VAT input when there is a return of goods.
On the VAT
input.
And what else? What else can cause that? Or which transaction?
I think when there's when a discount is granted to a debtor.
When there's a discount granted. Thank you very much. I was looking for that. So the same or the opposite would go to your CPJ. So CPJ, you would have the output when there's a discount as well, right?
Yes.
All right. So transaction number one, we had the CRJ, but it's a VAT output, right?
Yes.
Happy?
Yes.
Yes.
Right. And okay, now I think I'm getting it right. So we should have, sorry, you guys are seeing my solution quickly. So we've got 586 as a VAT output, right? It's 586, and then you plus it with how much? Okay,
1565.
1565. You plus it with how much? Let's do the transaction.
3913.
3913, right?
Yes.
3913. Okay. And what else? How about 1174? Would you agree? 1174? You are going quiet. I think we missed out on transaction number 3. 704, does it fit? I think I'm making a mistake here. Sorry. 3913. Okay, you were correct. 1174, do you agree with me?
Yes.
Okay, then 115, did we take 1565? Does 165 qualify? One is 565. So 1565? It does. It's a cash, right? Okay, let me see if I
No, but we
added that. Okay, 3913. Well, you give me that, right? Then 1174. I think I produced that. Okay, and
2261.
I beg your pardon?
2261.
Is it the solution here?
Yes.
2261.
Transaction number 10.
Transaction number 10. Okay. Number 10 is a 261.
2261. I'm not sure if I covered this.
You said transaction number 10, right?
Yes.
Where does 2261 come from?
I don't know because I wrote so many things here. I'm still trying to calculate again.
Okay, we've got 2261 on transaction numbers. Okay, no, I don't think it's the correct one. Okay, let me see. 5.6 multiplied by 15. 15 divided by 115. Okay, it's even 730, which I doubt. We're not gonna record that. Transaction number 8, it doesn't fade, right?
No.
Sorry,
No, we don't include it.
it's not included. Transaction number 10.
Yes.
Transaction number 10.
Yes, we do include it.
Okay, 39 rands.
No, that is VAT input.
Okay. Okay, let's do this. 2.3. Is that what you're looking for, right? 2.3, and then you said minus. Shall we minus 300? I think that's what you said.
Yes.
And you multiply this by 15 divided by 115. And how much is it giving you?
2261.
Okay. 22 is 226. I doubt it can be.
260. 261.
261, yeah.
261, like this.
Mm.
Okay. Okay, let's do this. 261. Okay, let's see. Purchase of inventory on credit. Okay, transaction number 11, it doesn't fade, right? Transaction number 12, it's a no, right? Transaction number 13, it's a no as well, right?
Yes.
Transaction number 14,
It's a no.
Okay. Okay, let me do this. I'm going to do this.
There is a VAT output on transaction number 14.
Number 14.
Yes.
But it's for PRJ, it's not for CRJ.
No, it's still VAT output.
No, but I was looking for the VAT output for CRJ.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Output for the CRJ, is it complete? VAT output for CPJ. Transaction number 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not there. We're looking for VAT output, VAT input for CPJ, right? Okay, I'm just gonna go sequentially with the numbers, transactions. Number 1, it's a no, right? And number 2, it's also a no. Number 3, it's a no. Do you agree?
Yes.
Number 4, it's a no.
Yes.
Number 5, it's a no.
Yes.
Number 6 is a no as well.
Correct.
Number 7.
What can you do with the number 6 settlement discount granted? There is also a VAT input. No, you are looking for CPJ, okay.
Can I move on? Number 7. Number 7.
So
Yes.
no.
It's a yes.
Are we including?
There is a VAT input there.
400
Input
multiplied by 15 divided. Sorry, I just want to do something quickly. Right. On number 7, you said there's an input VAT.
Yes.
365.
No. Yes.
20.
Isn't it? Also, now we're doing the input because I had connection issues.
Oh, sorry about that. Yes, we're doing the VAT input for CPJ.
Okay.
Yes, CPJ VAT input. We're trying to consolidate the amount that is relevant towards that that journal. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
2.8 of 15 divided by 115. Okay. Sorry, you were saying? Number 7?
You have 365.
365. It's a CPJ transaction. Number 8? It's a no, right?
Yes.
Number 9? It's a yes.
It's a yes.
626. Okay, number 10.
No.
Number 10 is a no.
Yes, it's a no.
Okay, number 11.
No.
The no.
Number 12.
Yes.
Yes.
It's a yes, right? 261.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 12. Sorry, number, it should be 13, right?
18 is a yes.
It's a yes of 391.
Evil.
391. Okay. Number 14.
It's no.
It's a no, right? Let's have a look at what are the VAT input for the PJ. Sorry, I'm just gonna be with you quickly. I believe 1 is a no, right? Number 2 is a no.
Mm-hmm.
And number 3 is a no. Number 4 is a no. Number 5 is a no, right? Number 6. Number 6 is also a no. Number 7. And number 8. Number 9. Okay, number
No.
8. Number 9.
Number 9 is a no.
Number 9 is a no. Number 10.
Yes.
Number 10 is a yes.
No.
Okay, number 11.
It's a no.
Yes.
Number 11 is a yes.
It's
Yes.
all
Yes.
PJ. Oh yes,
Yeah.
it's PJ. Yes. Sorry, PJ. Yes.
Okay. Somebody said no there, but do you agree now?
Yes, I agree. Yes.
Okay. Where was I? Number 11.
11. Yes.
Okay. 12.
No.
No.
13.
No.
No.
14.
No.
No.
Okay. Then, okay, I think it will be the only figure here. What else? Can we have the VAT input for SJ?
VAT output for PRG.
For sales channel? Number 1, it's a no,
No.
right?
No.
2,
No.
no. 3,
No.
Yes. Yes.
3 is a yes, right? 704.
704.
Okay. 3, you are saying it's a yes. Let's see. 704. Okay. Let's have a look at the number. Okay, was it 3? Okay, 4.
No.
4, no. 5. No.
No.
6. 7.
No.
8.
Yes.
Yes.
8 is a yes, right?
783.
What's that amount?
783.
780 or 83?
783.
783. Good. Okay, let's have a look at this. 9?
No.
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 10?
No.
No. 11?
Nope.
No.
12?
No.
No.
13?
No.
14?
No.
No.
Okay, good.
Sorry, can I ask?
Yes, ma'am, you may ask.
Isn't that 783 a VAT output for SJ?
It's 783 on?
Is it not a VAT output for SJ?
No, it's not. It's a purchase. And remember, we purchased on credit. You said 783, right? You said 783.
Yes.
Or you mean,
number
why
eight,
are they
I
on
think.
both PJs and SJ?
Transaction number 8.
Number 8. Okay, let me go to 8.
Think.
Mm-hmm.
Transaction
Yeah.
number 8 is a sales journal transaction. Can you all see that? Yeah, I think I
But
made a mistake here.
it's VAT output.
Sorry, you said 8, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's a VAT output if it's a sales journal.
Yes.
Are you clear on that one?
Yes.
I'm clear, but I see on the
The
bottom
problem,
you recorded
yes.
it on the VAT input.
Input also, yes.
Oh, sorry. You mean this
Yeah.
one? The
Yeah.
PJ.
Yeah.
Okay. Do this. Okay, this is what we're going to do. Let's look at the transaction weight of the PJ. Where's the purchase on credit? Can you see the same amount? 783 on both, because they all went
Yes.
6,000. So there's nothing wrong with putting them here. All of them, all together. Happy?
Yes.
There's a 6,000 rand for the credit purchase, and there's the 6,000 rand for the sale, for the credit sale. That's why you all have the input and output of 783.
I think she meant the last transaction, the last solution, the VAT input for SJ. Isn't it that it's supposed to be VAT output for SJ? The 704 plus 783.
Sorry. Now I get
Yeah,
what you
that
said.
was my question. Yes.
Like this, right?
Yes.
Like this.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. No, that makes sense. I hear you now. Right. Shall we have the VAT input for CRJ? Somebody was giving me a clear answer that with the discounts, you might have the input and the output on the CPJ or CRJ. All right. When you buy goods on credit, automatically it will be a CRJ, which is, sorry, when you're selling goods on cash, sorry about that. When you're selling goods on cash, it's a CRJ transaction. And it's a CRJ transaction, and it's a VAT output, right?
Yes.
When you offer the settlement, it's automatically going to be an input, right, on the settlement.
Yes.
All right, let's look at the transaction where you sold goods for cash, or there was a payment that, okay, we've received a payment from Mujela for 6,000 rand, and the settlement discount amount was 400 rand. So we've got an input VAT of 52 rand. Do you all agree under the CRJ, sorry?
Yes.
Makes sense?
Yes. Yes.
No. Let's break down this transaction quite correctly. Received a direct payment from Mr. Mujela. It's a CRJ transaction, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this time around is going to be a what? The settlement discount granted is a VAT input. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So 52 rand, it's a VAT input under the CRJ. Make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So that means the opposite of the CPJ input, it will be the VAT output. Okay. Then we're going to look at the discount received for the cash payment we made. Okay, let's look at the transaction where we had a settlement. Paint stars on an account with an amount of 2,800 rand. We've got a discount of 20 rands. It's an output.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's an output simply because it's an income. I remember you gave me an answer on that. Do we agree on that?
Yes.
52. 52. Okay, this one. Okay, I did this simply because I wanted to show you on if you're required to do the input or the output T account. Unfortunately, this is the phase where you have to pass by before you can arrive at what you are required to do. Am I making sense? So
Yes.
if they give you, yes, if they give you transactions with, for example, if they give you transactions that requires you to do the general accounts, but you are required to do the input T account, the output T account. Unfortunately, this is where you're going to start. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Right. The other question that might come under your VAT might be, they would give you or the list of items which attract VAT and which doesn't attract VAT, okay? Or they would give you a complete sales journal, for example, with your debtors, VAT, and sales, right? And they would tell you to give you, or they would give you a list of journals so they will give you a list of solutions with regards to which one is created and which one is debited, okay? Same applies to what we did before. Right, where you gave me your cost of sales and inventory and the debtors and all of those. They're going to probably ask you that kind of a question as to which account would be created there. Let's say they give you credit sales and they give you cash sales, and they say credit sales debit, cash sales credit. Do you get what I'm saying? And they say trade and other payables, credit and debit. Does that make sense? They can give you this kind of question as part of the multiple choice, or they can give you a complete sales journal and they would tell you, calculate, maybe they would give you, transaction that pertains to the VAT output on the sales journal, and they'll say calculate the VAT output, and then you calculate something like that. All right, one more thing. Would you guys like us to do the page units in paper? It's a multiple choice with 20 questions.
Okay.
But before we proceed, can I ask you something, sir?
Yes.
On the transaction number 10, I just
10.
want to understand how did we get 261? Because from my side, to my calculation, I got 2260. So how did we get 261?
If you say 2.3 minus 3, okay, it's one of those transactions that I'm going to, correct, because it's incorrect in anyhow. Right,
Okay.
but what she said was 2,300 minus 300, and then multiply by 150 divided by 115. I think it will give you 261. That's how she arrived at that conclusion.
Okay, maybe
You'll
it's my
get
calculation, because I did the same thing, but I did the same thing, but I got 2260. Maybe it's my calculator, then it's fine. If it's 261,
I think
it's
your calculator minus.
Okay.
Round it off.
I'm just
Yes,
verifying that. All right, no, she's right. It's 261. I think your calculator.
Yes.
Wait,
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. Thanks for the clarity.
You're welcome. Okay. Transaction number 1 is quite okay. And transaction number 2, we did well on that one. Transaction number 3, we are fine. Transaction number 4, we were fine. Transaction number 5, cool. Transaction 6, let's pause for a moment. Okay. Right. Transaction number 6, it carries the assumption that Mujela has been the debtor through to us and he's actually now paying us. Okay. So the assumption would be we've already charged Mr. Mujela the VAT amount when we initiated the transaction. The bigger question would be when. I don't know, but it's an assumption question. All right. So, but what I'm trying to say is this: you just have to split it when you do your CPJ in terms of the recordings. You don't have to show me my VAT. Epic. Same applies to the paint stars transaction. What I'm trying to say here is this. Wait, this is out. This is correct. But this is correct. Your discount received, it's quite correct. Okay. So in future, when you get transaction that automatically has what's called the discount, in your head, the assumption would be, okay, already this person had an account with us. It means that we have charged this person the VAT before. You don't have to worry about where is it. Okay. So the same thing I think it would apply here. Received a payment from these with a discount of these amounts. Okay. I'm going to tell you where you have to go for this kind of questions in your study guide. Okay. There's a noise at your background there. Please be careful. Please be careful with your noise in the background. Okay, at this point in time, I would like us to actually add up these figures and record them under the T accounts. Okay, 586 plus 1565 plus 3913 plus 1174. Okay, this is my VAT output for CRJ. I've got 7238 according to your calculations. How much are you getting there? The total here will be 52. The boys are gone today. I can't hear the boys. Right. Obviously, this would be out. Right. You have 626 plus 261, and then you plus it with 391. Okay. 391. Does it have a 0? Is it like this? 3910. Hello?
The first one, I'm getting a different answer.
How much are you getting?
7499.
7499.
That's what I get too.
The problem
Okay,
is you added the 261. So
it's not supposed to be there. All right.
No, it is supposed to be there.
Let me see. 7. You said plus 261.
Yes.
Okay, it's fine. 7499.
Yes.
Okay, that's all right. Let's go to how much are you getting for the input for CPJ? With 626 plus 261 plus 391. I got 1278.
1278.
Okay, cool. 1278. And obviously here it's a 20 rands. And then here is going to be 783, right? And here it's going to be 783 plus 704.
1487.
1487.
1487, right? 1487. Okay. But now we have to look at the recording. Sorry, I didn't record this, but let's look at this. Okay, anyway, you don't have to worry about this that much because I'm going to send it through to you, right? Don't worry much about it. Okay, let me do this. Are you all still there? Okay, it's fine. This thing, it's not friendly with me. I'll do this. But I will send you the final, what is it, thing, because this is actually out of our practice. I'll send you the final thing as per your request later on today. If you want it, you can email me, and then I'll send you the question.
Thank you.
There's a solution for this, because you can see that we are running out of time. Okay, let's do this because, okay, no, I got what I'm looking for. Okay, can somebody help me? How can I get the what I'm looking for? I'm not getting it. I'm looking for the line that I can put it. Okay, nonetheless, we can do this. We can say var input, and we say opening balance. Sorry, I'm just doing this because this PC is not structured the way my laptop is structured. Okay. So somebody told me that there was a difference between 1.8 and 1.1, right? Sorry about that. Sorry, 1.8 and 2.2. Okay, let's look at transaction number 6. The opening balance for the VAT output is 1.8 and for the VAT input is 2.2, right? So this is what you're going to do. Say 2.2, sorry, here. And let's do this. VAT output. Okay, opening balance. Say 1.8. Let's look at the VAT output of VAT input transactions. Right, we've got the VAT output for CRJ. Can you see that? 7411.
Yes.
Yes.
So it's an output. It will go through to the output side, right?
Yes.
So this is what you're going to see. You would say between the trade payables and the trade receivables, which one goes to the CRJ? It's receivables, right?
Yes.
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 Okay. So you're going to record it as, I think you will see it nicely when I receivables, when I send you the T account later on, and you would say CRJ. Can you see how you record this? Say CRJ, then you say 7499. 7499. Okay. And then let's have a look at the VAT input for CRJ. I've got 52, right?
Yes.
Okay. Then you'd say VAT input for CRJ. Should it come here? Okay. And you'd say, I think it's for the settlement. You remember that settlement discount received?
Yes.
Okay. And you'd say settlement. Please give me that figure again.
52.
Okay, you can say settlement CRJ. That's 52 rands, right? Okay, let's have a look at the second one. Very input for CPJ, I've got 1278. I think we are going to have CPJ is going to be trade payables, right? Look at this. Trade payables, CPJ. So how much is the amount? Please help me quickly.
1278.
1278. Right, let's have a look at we've got VAT output for 20 rands. What is this VAT output for? Because it should.
Sorry, sir. I need to interrupt you. I know that we're running out of time, but for the
Yes.
VAT output, for the VAT input for CPJ, on the transaction 7, aren't we supposed to add the 365?
Okay, let's have a look. Let's all have a look at the transaction 7. No.
So where is it the 365 going to be added to?
It's going to be added under your CPJ. It's gonna go, let's see, paid plus. It's gonna go through to your bank as well as your trade and other payables control account. That's how you're gonna split it.
Okay.
The only one that we are concerned about is the 20 rands, the discount.
All right, thanks.
Okay. 20 rands, it's for the, okay, initially when you make a payment and then when you get the discount received, it's an output, right?
Yes.
Okay. So it's an output on a CPJ, right? Or is it an output? Yeah, it's an output on a CPJ for settlements, right? CPJ. My apologies, guys, because I'm running out of time. What I'll do is I'm going to send you the T account for this one, a complete set of it. Please do send me an email and then I'll send it through to you. Okay. VAT input for PJ, we've got 783. VAT input for purchases, journal. Okay. So you can have a just a moment for me, please. I just want to think deeply there. VAT input for the purchases journal. Okay. So you're going to say payables, PJ, right? How much is the amount? How much is the amount?
783.
Yes.
I have somebody there's
83.
all right. Then let's have a look. Let's have a look at the last one. VAT output for SJ, 1487. Okay, sales, trade receivables. Let's say SJ, and the amount is 1487. 487. Tell you what, this it's highly possible that it's actually more than 70% that it's incorrect. Okay, but what I can tell you is it's highly 100% that the principle is fine. Right. Remember, in financial accounting, you deal with the principle, then you go to what's the correct figures. And I know at this point in time or at this stage, you guys want the correct figures and the principle, but your first point of entry in terms of understanding what's principles. Okay. Is there any questions that you guys have here? Quickly. When you need a question, please don't include this part. Any questions here? everybody happy here?
I'm happy.
Is everybody happy here? I want to hear some yeses. Yes.
Yes.
If you got it, means you're consent.
Yes.
You are happy.
Yes.
Okay. Everybody's actually happy here. All right. Other than this one, is there any questions? I beg your pardon? I beg your pardon? Somebody was talking. Hello. All right. Despite that, you guys had some questions with regards to the link, right? Please. Initially. You said you wanted to log in, and then it kicks you out. It says that you need to get permission.
Yes, it said we needed to. It gave the information to say it will send an email to grant access.
Okay. I'm not sure. What's your name?
It's praise.
Okay. I'm gonna ask you to send me an email a little bit later on, around about 3 or 4 later today, and then I'll give you a response as to why is it doing that. Because I can see that Greg or Johan, none of them has showed up. I thought maybe they would give you an immediate answer with regards to this, but I would ask them.
See, I am here. It's Johan.
Oh, sure. Johan, I've got a question from the student there. She's saying that when she's trying to log in on this HTTP thing for the videos, it says that she needs to be granted permission.
No, the thing is just students can log into the site. That permission thing, students sometimes click the wrong thing, that they want to be able to edit the site, which they can't do.
Okay.
So you must just try clearing a browser and trying logging into the site again. It will just log in because it's a free site.
Okay. Did you get that?
Otherwise, you can email me directly and I'll try and assist.
Okay.
And your email is?
It's JC De Beer. Will you just type it there, please?
Let me just type it. JC De Beer. It's
one
word,
word,
right?
Yeah, one word.
Okay.
At Unisa.
Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. At Unisa.
At Unisa.
.ac.za.
.ac.za.
Yes.
Good people, can you see this email written down here?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Is it small letters or capital?
It doesn't matter. It can be small letters or capital letters. It will work.
He says it doesn't matter whether you go up or you go low. It's okay with the cases. Okay. So it doesn't matter. Is there any questions with regards to this the lock-in that you want me to clarify, or while Johan is on the line to assist you?
Sorry, sir. You promised that you'll send us a complete solution with T account with control account of that. Okay.
Yes. I will do that later on. But you need to remember one thing. I'm only going to send that upon your request because I don't have your email address. You need to request that, and then I'll forward it back to you.
Okay.
Does it make sense? Because currently I don't have your email address. So what you have to do is remind me later on and say, please forward me the workings for today. And then I'll do that as a complete setup. Okay.
Can you do also for yesterday or the day before yesterday?
I can do that. I've got everything I've got everything from Monday, Tuesday, and today.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank
you. Due to time, I'm gonna ask you, when you send me that email, you said that you've got one of the questions in this. You've got a questions in one of the questions we gave before. Send me an email with that question, or let's start with your question first thing in the morning if you'll be in the class tomorrow. Did you get that?
For some of us who didn't not record the question, so it will be difficult. We'll just ask you to send us the all material from Monday till today.
Okay, not a problem. I'll do that. But as long as you do pop me an email, then I'll be able to respond back with regards to your request.
Okay, thanks.
Right. Tell you what's going to come up for tomorrow. Please do focus on your bank reconciliation statements. You just have to focus on that one only. And then
Okay.
we're gonna do some few multiple choice questions. I'm gonna ask I'm gonna look at one of your previous exam papers or the assignments, and then I'll pick one of the questions there. And then we'll do question as well. Okay, so you can expect 2 questions based on the BRS, which is the bank reconciliation statements. And then I'm gonna give you, should we have more time, then I'm gonna give you a 20 question multiple choice question, a 20 multiple choice question. Okay. If I can get the solution from the lecturer, then we can do the May June exam paper all together.
Okay.
Okay. I think you guys will be comfortable with that.
Yes.
Yes, we are.
We'll try and do one of those exam papers, or we'll go back and do one of the. I'll try to get one of the old assignments where you probably don't have an assignment. What is it? And then we'll do it together. It's more similar. It's actually the exam technique for the financial account is actually not that different. Okay, so if you do one of the previous multiple choice questions in the assignment, I think you should be comfortable enough to can be prepared to write your exam.
Okay.
Okay. I'll see what is going to happen on Thursday as well, because topic E has a lot of content. I'm not sure how am I going to structure my questions on topic E on Friday, because it's going to be quite long. All right. From me to you, I thank you so much for joining in today, and then I hope to see you tomorrow, 100% complete. Thank you so much for your time. Please do go home.
Very much.
Get enough rest. Make sure that you study hard. Okay.
Thank you.
If you've got questions,
Thank you.
you're more than welcome. And then if you've got questions that you're struggling with, please do pop me an email. I'll respond as soon as I can. I'm always on my email simply because I'm actually on this revision course. So 95% of my time, except when I sleep, I'm checking my email constantly because I've realized that you guys are flooding me with a lot of emails. That's why I'm always there. So if you've got a problem, do not hesitate to email me, and then so that we can work on the problem before you write your exam.
Okay.
I want to thank you so much, and I'll see you tomorrow. Have a blessed day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.